like a road that never ends.
The year of big hair, bigger choruses, and some of the most dramatic pop songs ever to hit radio. We all remember the huge ones: Walk Like an Egyptian, Papa Don't Preach, You Give Love a Bad Name. But hiding just under that neon surface, a whole stack of #1 hits that quietly slipped out of the nostalgia conversation, even though they ruled the charts for a moment. Tonight, we're going back to 1986 to rescue 12 real #1 pop hits that critics don't shout about enough. Songs that hit the very top of the Billboard Hot 100, then got buried under playlists, trends, and cooler stories. Some you'll remember the second the chorus hits, others will make you go, wait, that was the #1? So let's fix that. This is 1986, ignored #1 hit on pop music, Why Critics Missed It, Top 12.
The wind blows hard against this mountainside.
Remember singing this in the car and not really knowing the words? That soaring chorus built around the phrase, Kyrie Ellison, a Greek prayer line, was everywhere for a minute. School buses, youth group trips, late night radio.
My body burns a gem like flame.
This was win-in-your-face music. The vibe is pure widescreen highway pop rock, big drums, shimmering guitars, and a chorus that feels like a spiritual road trip. It's dramatic without being cheesy, the kind of track you throw on when you're driving at night and thinking about your life. Kyrie came from Mr. Mister's album Welcome to the Real World and hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in March 1986, staying there for 2 weeks and also topping the rock chart. Written by Richard Page, Steve George, and John Lang, it's basically an arena sing-along wrapped around a prayer. Fun fact, the lyrics sound like church Latin, but they were written by the band's lyricist while recovering from a serious injury. He literally turned a near-death experience into a pop hook. If you grew up with 80s soft rock, Sarah is that slow dance song you maybe cried to once and will never admit. It's the one with Mickey Thomas singing the name like a full sentence of heartbreak. Radio loved this in early 86. You'd hear it between Whitney ballads and rock anthems. The feeling is rainy window, soft pop, gentle synths, echoing snares, and a melody that just keeps circling back to that name. It's perfect late-night radio energy, the song you hear at 11:45 p.m. on a Sunday, and suddenly remember your first breakup. Sarah was written by Peter and Ina Wolf. And appears on Starship's album Knee Deep in the Hoopla. It became their second U.S. #1, topping the Billboard Hot 100 on March 15th, 1986, and ending up as one of North America's best-selling singles that year. Fact, the dramatic black and white video with dust storms, flashbacks, and that iconic farmhouse gave the song an extra soap opera level. It felt like a 3-minute mini-movie, so why is it ignored now? Starship's legacy is dominated by We Built This City and Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. Sarah gets overshadowed, and critics love to dump on the band's 80s era, but if you strip away the arguments about real rock, you're left with a beautifully constructed, emotional, soft pop track that absolutely earned its #1. It might not be on every throwback playlist, but it deserves to be.
Hey, Pop Lore family. Did you know only 1% of viewers are subscribed? If you love deep dives into pop legends, forgotten gems, and the stories behind the songs that shaped generations, hit that subscribe button right now. And don't forget to turn on LL notifications so you'll be the first to know when we premiere our next video. It's free, it helps Pop Lore grow, and it makes sure you never miss a single countdown or music story. Let's build this community together.
And deep inside, is there another in your memory?
You know that line, sad songs to make you cry. That's this one. This was the slow dance cousin to Caribbean Queen. And when the going gets tough, it played at weddings, breakups, and every late night radio dedication hour in 1986. The vibe is silky, grown-up soul pop.
Especially when the words of the love song.
Warm keyboards, soft drums, and Billy Ocean's smooth voice gliding over the top. This is bedroom radio energy, lights off, headphones on, staring at the ceiling, and thinking about someone you shouldn't text. Written by Billy Ocean with Wayne Brathwaite and Barry Eastman, the song was on the Love Zone album and hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in July 1986. It also topped the U.S. adult contemporary and R&B charts, crossing over 3 different radio formats at once. The writers based the song on a real moment. A woman broke down in tears at a party.
One I care for, the one that I would wait for.
When one of Ocean's earlier ballads reminded her of an ex. They literally turned that story into this song about music reopening old wounds. Why did it vanish? By the 90s, critics started calling this kind of adult contemporary soul corny.
They can touch the heart of someone new.
And even some 80s retrospectives skip it in favor of his more upbeat hits. But for pure slow jam nostalgia and a reminder of how powerful a simple love song can be, this is a #1 that deserves a proper comeback.
The arms of nature get to me to
This is the one that sneaks up on you. You might not remember the title immediately, but the second Mick Hucknall sings that aching opening line, "It all comes back." This was the soundtrack to quiet heartbreak and long bus rides home.
holding back the
The vibe is minimal, emotional, and very grown. Just a few instruments, that sax, and Hucknall's voice sounding both fragile and powerful. It's not a party track. It's more like the last song of the night at a school dance when the disco ball is still spinning, but most people have gone home. Originally on the 1985 album Picture Book,
nothing ever could, yeah.
Holding Back the Years was re-released and climbed all the way to #1 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 in 1986. While peaking at #2 in the UK, it's co-written by Hucknall and his old bandmate Neil Moss, and it's basically about childhood loss.
All my tears, I'm waiting.
And try not to let life harden you. Hucknall wrote parts of the song when he was a teenager, long before Simply Red were famous, which is wild considering how mature it sounds. Why is it under-celebrated? Simply Red never became a cool critic band. They were filed under sophisti-pop and adult contemporary, while journalists chased more fashionable acts. But this is a stone-cold classic, subtle, soulful, and proof that 1986 pop could be emotionally heavy and still top the charts. This is pure grown folk drama. 2 of the best voices of the 80s singing about a breakup where both sides are hurting and trying to move on. If you remember the split screen video with them in different apartments on different coasts, you already feel the story. The vibe is slow, rich, and emotional. Big 80s ballad production, but still intimate. Perfect for a breakup montage in your head, or for those nights when you're convinced you'll die alone, but in a glamorous way. Written and produced by Burt Bacharach and Carol Bayer-Sager, On My Own was first cut by Dionne Warwick. But it became a monster when Patty and Michael recorded it for LaBelle's Winter in You album. It went #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 3 weeks, also topping R&B and dance sales charts and hitting the top 2 in the UK and across Europe. Fun fact, LaBelle and McDonald never even recorded their vocals together. They were in different cities. Their performances were spliced together in the mix and mirrored in the video, which helps sell that feeling of two people separated but still connected. So why don't we talk about it more?
So many promises never should be spoken.
Both singers have huge careers and other signature songs, so On My Own became just their big 80s duet. Critics also tend to downplay power ballads, but if you love emotional pop storytelling, this is one of 1986's most powerful chart toppers.
Now we know it's much too late.
Think of this as the wholesome, slightly dorky cousin of The Power of Love. It's that song about realizing you actually like being stuck with your partner. This was playing in dentist offices, diners, road trips. It was everywhere in '86. The vibe is sunny and laid back, light horns, easy groove.
I'm happy to be stuck with you. Yes, it's true.
And Huey's everyman voice selling a simple idea: long-term love can be fun. This is pure driving along the coast with the windows down music. Stuck With You was the first single from the 4 album, written by Huey Lewis and guitarist Chris Hayes.
Stuck with you, 'cause I can see.
It spent 3 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and top charts in Canada and Zimbabwe, while hitting the top 10 in multiple countries. The music video, with Huey stranded on a tiny island with a woman, was shot in the Bahamas and basically looks like a mini vacation brochure with a love story attached. Why is it overlooked?
Never took him seriously.
When people talk about Huey Lewis, they go straight to The Power of Love and Back to the Future. Stuck With You doesn't have a blockbuster film attached, so it slipped into the "oh yeah, that one" category, but it's a perfect slice of feel-good 80s pop that totally earned its chart crown.
I don't wanna lose you.
If you ever watched The Karate Kid Part 2 on VHS, this was burned into your brain. It's the slow-motion fight scene ballad, the big romantic promise, the song that made Peter Cetera that guy who left Chicago and still got a #1. The vibe is peak power ballad, swelling keyboards, dramatic drums, and Cetera belting like he's singing the end credits of your life. It's made for bedroom sing-alongs, movie montages, and every I Will Protect You fantasy. Glory of Love was written by Cetera, David Foster, and Diane Ninny, recorded just after Cetera left Chicago. It was featured on both the Solitude Solitaire album and the Karate Kid 2 soundtrack. It hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in August 1986, staying there for 2 weeks and dominating adult contemporary radio. It picked up Oscar and Golden Globe nominations for Best Original Song and a Grammy nomination for Best Pop Vocal Performance. You might know Higher Love more recently from that Kygo Whitney Houston remix, but in 1986, this was Steve Winwood's big pop moment. That punchy percussion, those gospel-style backing vocals, and that chorus that just keeps climbing. The vibe is uplifting, spiritual, and rhythmic. It's part blue-eyed soul, part soft rock, part danceable pop. This is perfect. End of the night lights up everyone singing together energy. Co-written by Winwood and lyricist Will Jennings, produced by Winwood and Russ Titleman, Higher Love was the first single from Back in the High Life. It became Winwood's first #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in August 1986 and spent 4 weeks at #1 on the album rock chart. It went on to win 2 Grammys, Record of the Year and Best Male Pop Vocal Performance. Those powerhouse backing vocals, that's Chaka Khan. Who also appears in the music video and gives the track its gospel punch. So how did this end up underrated? Over time, Winwood got grouped in with Dad Rock, and the song's slick 80s production made some critics roll their eyes. But between the Grammy wins
I'm not too late for me.
and the way it still works on a dance floor in any decade, Higher Love is one of the most important and still underpraised #1s of 1986. If you only know the Human League for Don't You Want Me, this might feel like a surprise. Human is quieter, softer, and very 3 a.m. confession. The chorus is basically 2 people admitting, yeah, we messed up, we're only human.
Won't you please forgive me?
The vibe is slow, glossy synth pop with an R&B edge, which makes sense because this was produced in Minneapolis by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, the same team behind so many Janet Jackson hits. It's breakup music for people who still kind of love each other, released as the lead single from Crash. Human gave the band their second US #1 in November 1986 and a top 10 hit in the UK. It was also their first major hit not written by the band themselves. Fun fact, you can hear Jam and Lewis's fingerprints all over it, from the drum programming to the lush synth pads. It almost sounds like a cousin to Janet's Control era, just sung by a British synth pop band. Why is it overlooked? Human League purists usually point to their earlier, more cool work. Critics tend to celebrate Don't You Want Me and ignore this late period evolution. But as a cross-pollination of UK synth pop and Minneapolis R&B, Human is a fascinating and underrated #1. You probably know Boston for More Than a Feeling, but their only US #1 single is this power ballad, Amanda. No flashy video, no big promo campaign, just a slow-burning love song that quietly climbed to the top in late '86. The vibe is
I'm gonna tell you right away, I can't wait another day, Amanda.
classic arena soft rock, chiming 12-string guitars, soaring melodies, and Brad Delp's voice sounding like pure 80s radio. It's a driving at dusk, headlights on, thinking about somebody you never confessed your feelings to kind of track. Written and produced by Boston mastermind Tom Schultz, Amanda was recorded as early as 1980 but didn't come out until Third Stage dropped in 1986. It reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in November 1986.
I feel like today's the day. Looking for the way.
And also topped the mainstream rock chart and Canadian charts, becoming Boston's highest charting single ever. Fun fact, the name Amanda isn't about a real person. Schultz has said he picked it because it just sang well with the melody. It's pure songcraft, not autobiography. So why do critics
Do you wanna be free? Are you ready for
act like it doesn't exist? Boston get framed as a 70s band, and many rock histories freeze them at More Than a Feeling. Amanda comes in the mid-'80s during an era of long gaps and label battles, so it gets treated like an extra.
if I tell you tonight?
But as a late career #1, it's a fascinating reminder of how long 70s arena rock could still dominate 80s pop radio. This one is special. A piano-driven soft rock song about civil rights, poverty, and the unfairness built into everyday life that went to #1 in the middle of Reagan-era pop radio. You might remember the gentle piano riff, and if you're a hip-hop fan, you definitely know it from Tupac's Changes. The vibe is thoughtful and bittersweet.
Standing in line, marking time, waiting for
Warm piano, subtle synths, and Hornsby's conversational vocals with a chorus that sounds resigned but still hopeful. It feels like the soundtrack to reading the news and trying to make sense of it all. Released as the second single from The Way It Is, the song hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in December 1986.
some things will never change.
It also topped charts in Canada and the Netherlands. The lyrics reference the Economic Opportunity Act and the Civil Rights Act, making it one of the more explicitly political mainstream hits of its time. Decades later, the song kept living a second life.
Said, hey, little
Not just through Tupac's Changes, but even in UK TV themes and sports coverage, proving how durable that main riff is. Why do critics underrate it? Hornsby tends to get filed under adult contemporary, and serious pop histories sometimes skip over the fact this was a big political #1 in 1986. But if you care about socially conscious pop, The Way It Is a landmark that deserves to be mentioned alongside the usual 80s giants.
back to hard again. Hey,
Our #1 ignored 1986 chart topper is a duet that was huge, won awards, and then quietly slid off the nostalgia radar. The Next Time I Fall. This is peak late 80s love song energy, soft drums, gentle keyboards, and two voices promising to do love better next time.
I'll know better what to do next time.
The vibe is pure adult contemporary comfort. It's not a big dramatic sob fest. It's more like a hopeful conversation at the end of a breakup. Perfect for long car rides, Sunday radio, or that moment after a heartbreak when you're not ready to give up on love yet.
We'll be with you.
Written by Bobby Caldwell and Paul Gordon, produced by Michael O'Martian, the song was recorded for Cetera's Solitude Solitaire album as an accidental duet. It wasn't originally written as one. Released in late 1986, it went to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and the Adult Contemporary chart, giving Cetera his second solo U.S. chart topper and helping Amy Grant cross over from Christian music into mainstream pop. It also picked up a Grammy nomination for Best Pop Performance by a duo or group with vocals. Cetera literally discovered the song on a demo tape in David Foster's office, loved it, and pushed to record it, and then personally chose Amy Grant, who at the time was still mostly a Christian music star, looking for a pop crossover.